Sand workouts. They look epic, right? Athletes sprinting on the beach, sweat flying, waves crashing behind them. It feels like something straight out of a Rocky montage. But here's the real question. Do sand workouts actually make you a better athlete? Or is it just fitness Instagram hype? Today, we're breaking down the myth, science and reality of sand training. And trust me, it's not as black and white as you think. So, the big claim is this: if you train on sand, you'll run faster, jump higher, and dominate your sport. Sounds great, right? The problem? Sand is unstable. You push off, your energy gets absorbed instead of transferred into forward motion or vertical integration. Imagine trying to dunk a basketball on a trampoline. It feels bouncy, but the force doesn't always go into jumping high. Same with sand. For sprinters, soccer players, basketball players, sports that rely on explosive force into the ground, sand training doesn't carry over well. You're not teaching your muscles to apply force effectively on solid ground. In fact, too much sand training can actually slow you down. I know most people don't talk about that, because your body learns to sink instead of explode. Biomechanics 101. Athletic performance is all about the stretch shortening cycle. That's your muscles loading and releasing energy like a rubber band. On sand, that rubber band effect gets dulled. It's like trying to bounce a ball on a mattress. The energy disappears instantly and literally. That's why elite track athletes don't prep for the Olympics by sprinting on beaches. They sprint on the track, firm surface, maximum force, and maximum speed. Or take basketball. Players need sharp cuts, quick acceleration, and vertical explosion. On sand, those sharp mechanics are slowed down. You're basically practicing in slow motion. But don't get me wrong, sand isn't useless. In fact, it can be a great tool if you use it the right way. Sand reduces ground reaction forces, meaning less stress on your joints. That's why it's great for rehabbing an ankle sprain or for athletes who need conditioning without pounding their knees. And I know knee pain is never great. Soccer teams sometimes use sand runs for aerobic capacity. Think long, steady runs or shuttle drills where max speed isn't the goal. Beach volleyball players thrive on sand because their sport happens there. Training on their actual playing surface makes total sense. So yes, if you're rehabbing, building general endurance, or training for a sand-based sport, it's golden. But if your goal is for sprinting faster on turf, hardwood, or track, sand isn't your shortcut. It actually might slow things down. So, is sand training a magic bullet for athletic performance? Nope. It's more like a spice in the recipe. Sprinkle it in for the right situation. But don't build your whole diet around it. If you want real speed, power, and performance, train on the same surface you compete on. This is episode 1 of Debunking Workout Myths series. Next up, we're tackling another popular trend that might not be what it seems. So make sure to hit the like button, drop a comment with the workout myth you want us to cover, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Think calf raises, endless box jumps, or fancy ankle weights will make you jump higher? Hate to break it to you, but most of what you've heard about vertical jump training is a total myth. Today, on Movement Meets Sport, we're debunking the top 6 jump myths that are holding athletes back today. And I'll reveal the one skill most athletes forget that actually makes you more explosive. Let's get into it. Myth number 1, calf raises will make you more explosive. Just know, jumping isn't just calves. They finish the motion, but the real power comes from the hips, glutes, quads, and hamstrings. Your big engines. Train the engines and you'll skyrocket. Myth number 2, just jump more and you'll jump higher. I wish it was that simple. Technique matters, sure, but if all you do is jump, you'll hit a wall. You need raw strength to push more force into the ground. Remember, force plus speed equals power. Myth number 3, plyometrics alone will explode your vertical. Plyos are awesome, but only if you already have a strength base. Without that, you're just bouncing around. Strength builds the engine. Plyos teach it to go fast. Myth number 4, heavy lifting will make you slow. It's gotta be my favorite myth. Stronger athletes jump higher, period. Heavy strength training won't slow you down if you balance it with mobility and explosive work. In fact, it makes your takeoff that much more powerful. Myth number 5, box jump height shows how high you can really jump. Landing on a tall box doesn't improve your vertical. That's just hip mobility. A real vertical is measured by how far your center of mass leaves the ground, not how high you can tuck your knees. Myth number 6, deceleration doesn't matter. That's one almost never talked about. Everyone wants to explode up, but what about coming down? Deceleration, being able to absorb force safely, is key. If your body can't handle the landing, it won't let you fully unleash the power upon takeoff. Think of it like a spring. The better it compresses and absorbs energy, the higher it rebounds. Strong deceleration equals safer landings, fewer injuries, and more explosive jumps. So stop chasing myths. Calf raises, endless box jumps, or box height flexes aren't the answer. Build strength, train explosiveness, and master deceleration. This is episode 2 of our Debunking Workout Myths series. In our next episode, we will be debunking another workout myth. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it, and let's get you unlocking your true athletic potential. Agility ladders. You've seen them everywhere, coaches swear by them, trainers post endless reels about them, and athletes, they've been told this thing is a secret weapon for speed and agility for years. Here's the truth, it's not. And today, we're going to break down why the agility ladder is one of the most overrated tools in sport training, and what actually works if you want real speed. Let's get into it. I get it. Ladder drills look amazing. Feet are flying, it feels tough, and it's perfect for highlight reels. But here's the problem. Looking quick in a 3x10 nylon ladder has nothing to do with being explosive on the field. If fast feet were all that mattered, the world's best sprinters would be professional tap dancers. Let's keep the science simple. Speed comes down to how much force you can put into the ground and how effectively you move that force forward. Agility ladders, they don't train force, they train choreography. You're basically teaching your feet a pattern. That's useful for coordination, sure, but it doesn't make you faster. It makes you better at ladders. So why does this myth stick around? 2 reasons. Number 1, it feels like you're working hard. Number 2, it looks impressive on video. But just because something looks good on Instagram doesn't mean it transfers to game speed. It's fitness version of photo filters. Cool to look at, doesn't change the reality. Now, don't get me wrong, ladders aren't useless. They're a great warm-up, they help with rhythm and coordination, and they can be fun for young athletes to build basic movement skills. And don't forget about the neurofiring, that's the science behind it. But if your goal is top-end speed and real agility, the ladder is not the answer. So, you might be asking yourself, what actually works? Strength training to build force, sprint mechanics to clean up efficiency, plyometrics to train explosiveness, and don't sleep on deceleration. Because agility isn't just about being fast, it's about stopping and changing direction under control. That's the training that separates someone who looks quick in practice from someone who dominates on game day. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Agility ladders, they're not evil, they're just overhyped. Think of them like cardio machines. You'll sweat, you'll look busy, but you're not unlocking elite speed with one. Use it as a tool, not a magic trick. Because real speed, that's built with strength, mechanics, and power, not choreography. If you enjoyed episode 3 of our Debunking Workout Myths series and it gave you some clarity, be sure to hit that like button, drop a comment with the next training myth you want us to break down, and subscribe, because this is just the start of a whole series on workout myths that need to go. Alright, let's address the elephant in the weight room. You know that one guy who says, "Bro, don't lift heavy, you'll get slow." Yeah, him. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I've had enough money to buy my own squat rack and still not have to wait for people doing bicep curls in it. The myth goes like this: heavy weights equals bulky muscles equals slower athlete. Basically, people think if you start squatting or deadlifting big numbers, you'll move like a refrigerator with legs. But here's the kicker: science says the exact opposite. And let's get into it. Strength is the foundation of speed. Think of your muscles like car engines. The stronger the engine, the more horsepower you've got. Heavy lifting increases your rate of force development. Basically, how quickly you can produce force. And force is literally what makes you move faster. No force, no speed. And unless you want noodle legs, you're gonna need that horsepower. Let's take a deep dive. Here's where it gets interesting. There are 3 pillars athletes should know. Strength, your raw horsepower, think squats, deadlifts, and presses. Speed, how fast you can move with little to no resistance, think sprints. Speed strength, the sweet spot, how fast you can move heavy weight or how much force you can apply quickly. That's what makes an athlete explosive. If you only train speed, you'll top out fast. If you only train strength, you'll be powerful but not quick. The magic is combining them. Let's look at the proof. Look at Olympic lifters, heavyweights, insane explosiveness. Sprinters, same deal. Their squat and clean numbers are through the roof. Usain Bolt didn't just eat nuggets, he built power in the weight room. The fear is understandable. It stems from bodybuilding. If you only do slow, pump-style lifting, yeah, you might move like molasses. But if you train heavy and explosive, your muscles learn to fire like rockets. So unless you plan to get smoked by grandma in a foot race, add some heavy squats to your life immediately. Here's where you want to get a pen and paper. The formula is simple. Build strength and heavy compound lifts. Then train speed with sprints, jumps, and throws. Combine them and you get speed strength, the real athletic superpower. So the next time someone says heavy lifting makes you slow, just smile and say, cool bro, you keep jogging in circles, I'll be over here sprinting past you. Hit like if you ever heard this myth, comment the worst training advice you ever been given, and subscribe, unless you like being slow. Sport-specific training. Sounds fancy, right? You play baseball, so you swing a weighted bat in the gym. You're a quarterback, so you throw medicine balls mimicking passes. You're a basketball player, so you shoot with resistant bands strapped to your arms and ankles. Here's the harsh truth. If you're doing this stuff in the weight room, you're not becoming a better athlete. You're actually making yourself worse. You're training slower, wrecking mechanics, and wasting time. And by the way, this is episode 5 of our Debunking Workout Myths series, the finale, the big one. If you've been fooled by sport-specific gimmicks in the weight room, this is the video you can't afford to miss. Let's get into it. Here's where most people get it twisted. The weight room is not the field or the court. The weight room builds raw materials, strength, power, speed. Your sport practice is where you refine skill. Remember that. When you try to turn the gym into your sport, swinging bats, throwing balls, dribbling weighted basketballs, you're actually corrupting your motor patterns. The nervous system learns movement by repetition. If you rehearse a fake version of your sport under resistance, you're literally teaching your brain to move the wrong way. That's why so many athletes feel off after doing gimmicky sport lifts. Their mechanics are clunky, timing is off, and performance doesn't transfer. So here's the real formula. Science plus what really works. Let's start off with strength training in the gym. Squats, presses, deadlifts, these build raw horsepower. Power training in the gym. Olympic lifts, jumps, sprints, medicine ball throws, these convert strength into explosiveness. Sports practice outside of the gym. Shooting, swinging, throwing, that's where skill mastery really happens. Mixing them up inside the gym, that's like trying to play the piano during deadlifts. You ruin both. If you made it this far, here's that secret sauce, the cherry on top. Now, advanced athletes can make the weight room feel more sport specific, but it's not about copying skills or pretending the gym is the court. A common myth is, if I squat the same knee bend I use in my jump shot, I'll get better at shooting. Wrong. The nervous system doesn't just train angles, it trains entire movement patterns, the kinetic chain. Mimicking exact sport mechanics in the gym builds bad habits that don't transfer, just a waste of time. But here's the nuance. Joint angles can help for injury prevention. Strengthening hamstrings at sprinting angles reduces pulls. Training hip and knee stability at cutting angles lowers ACL risk. Working the shoulder through overhead angles makes throwers more resilient. So angles are great for resilience, but not for skill transfer. So how do you actually connect the gym to training sport? That's where post-activation potentiation, otherwise PAP, and French contrast training come in. Here's the science simplified. When you lift something heavy, your nervous system fires hard to recruit as many muscle fibers as possible. For a short window afterwards, seconds to minutes, these muscles are primed, meaning they can fire faster and more explosively. That's PAP. Here's an example. Do a heavy squat, rest briefly, then do a vertical jump. Your nervous system is still in overdrive from the squat, so you jump higher. French contrast builds on this and takes it further. Heavy lift like a back squat, max strength recruitment. 2. Resisted plyometric like a banded squat jump, power under load. Unloaded plyometric like a body weight jump, max velocity. sprint or bounding movement, sport speed application. It's like shifting gears in a race car. Heavy lift equals first gear, resisted jump equals second, bodyweight jump equals third, sprint equals top speed. By the end, you train your nervous system to turn raw horsepower into field-ready speed and explosiveness. That's the real sport-specific transfer, not gimmicks. Think of it this way. The weight room is the garage where you build the engine. The field or the court is the racetrack where you drive. Sport-specific training in the gym, that's like revving your car in neutral and pretending you're winning races. It looks busy, but you're going nowhere. And that wraps up our finale of our Debunking Workout Myths series. Thank you for tuning into episode 5. It's been awesome shutting down the nonsense with you. If you haven't seen the whole series, we've created a playlist with every episode. Go binge it so you're not stuck making the same mistakes most athletes are still making. And as always, if you like this, smash subscribe, drop a comment on which myth hit the hardest, and I'll see you in the next series. Keep working hard.